What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode 3 of the North Queensland Cowboys TV podcast. Hope everyone is doing well for your Wednesday night, 8:34 p.m. We're a bit later than usual. Just had a bit of a situation come up. That's why there was a bit of a delay. I'm not going to get into what it was, but bit of a slight situation that I had to take care of. So apologies about the half an hour delay. I hope everyone understands that. As always, Callan is here. Hello, Callan. Hope you're well, mate.
Yeah, Nick, good to see you, brother. Hello to all the viewers. Good to be back on the podcast with you.
Yes, episode 3. Obviously, we're getting through these now every week. It's been really enjoyable the first couple podcasts. It's been very smooth, very relaxing. No pressure. Just a bit of fun talking all things Cowboys, really. Obviously, round 1 next week. We'll have a lot more to talk about in next week's podcast, but we've still got a fair bit to get into tonight. Obviously, the trial game over the weekend against Melbourne, which was a success, and a couple other things going on at the moment. But how's things been in your world, Cullen, since we last did the podcast last week? How you been? You been all right?
Yeah, mate, good. Just scored a new job and had to tell the boss that I can't work because I'm going to the Manly game.
Oh shit! That's going to go down well.
Hey, if you're watching, boss, I booked this bloody 10 months ago, mate. So I'm really sorry.
Yeah, this is a long time in the making. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to getting down there next week when we play Manly. It should be interesting. Hopefully there's no rain. Hopefully it's a dry track. But yes. Hello to everyone that's in the live chat watching and communicating in the live chat. We got a bit of a crowd here. We've got about 20 people watching at the moment. I'm sure there'll be more as the show goes on. Who we got here? We got Jeffrey, Jason, CJ, Luke, Lockie, SS, Josh, Riley, Gene, Cooper, Connor. Hello, Connor. Hope you're well, my friend. We got the man that runs the Facebook page, Josh Elmer. Hello, Josh.
Joshy.
Shout out to Josh Elmer. Does a lot of great things behind the scenes that no one knows about. So shout out to Josh. He says, "Hey, gents. Hope you're doing well, Josh. Hopefully we run into you at a game in Townsville this year. I think round 2. I think we'll both be there round 2, won't we, Callan? The first home game?
Yeah, mate.
I should be there. I'm hoping to be there. It's just sorting out a few things, but should be there. Everyone that's here, hope you're good. Hope everyone's doing fantastic. All right, let's get into it. We'll start off with, obviously, what happened on the weekend. Cowboys impress in trial over the Storm. Don't want to take too much away. We can't take too much out of it, right? It's only a preseason game. We did play probably close to what our round 1 team will look like. But what did you make of the performance, Callan, on the weekend against the Storm?
Yeah, well, the positive, we got a lot of carry on about trial 1, and
you're not wrong.
You can't read too much into trials, but the positive for me is that being close to the, our round 1 side, and those combinations that have never played together did very well, So I'm excited for that to only get better. Bateman and Duffy. The contrast in the old guy and the young guy, and I thought both of them played really well.
Yes, 100%. Hello to CJ in the chat as well. CJ is one of the moderators, so if anyone mucks up in the live chat, they'll just get kicked out instantly. So, hello CJ, hope you're well, my friend. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Combinations look really solid. Duffy and Bateman were together for the first time. And look, Melbourne did score on the back of John Bateman's error in defence, I guess, for the first try for the Melbourne Storm. But that's what preseason trials are for. Get those little errors out of the way before round one begins. And I'll tell you what, John Bateman, he was good. He was good. Like, I think he had 3 or 4 tackles where it led to Melbourne errors, which was really good stuff, really promising signs. And I'll tell you what I noticed, Callum. I know combinations and players' performances were really solid, but what I was really pleased with was the fitness. I thought a lot of players looked fitter than ever.
Yeah, 100%.
Sam McIntyre looks like an absolute machine. He was fit as Sam McIntyre's always been a hard worker and he's always been a competitive player, but he looks like he's gotten a lot fitter than last year. McIntyre looked good. Ruben Cotter looked fit. Like, we know Cotter is one of the fittest guys in the team, but both of those guys look really fit. But the one guy, Callum, that me in particular, I had doubts over this bloke. And again, it's only trial. Can't get too ahead of ourselves, but he played very well in the weekend. Viliami Vailea at right centre. I had lots of concerns. He was outstanding. He couldn't have done any more in that game against Melbourne to get that jersey for round one. He was outstanding on the weekend. I am now confident that Villiers will do a job in round one if he gets picked.
Yeah, 100%. You know, so like he never set the world on fire last year, but like, because one of my arguments with him, he don't pass the ball when he should have.
Right.
And, you know, like he ticked every box for us on the, you know, and that big hit on half time, you know, that's what you want to see, you know.
That was a confidence booster, that was.
Yeah. Look out for me, brother, because when you get the ball, I'm going to smash you.
Well, obviously, we'll talk about Manly later on and we'll talk about matchups for round one, but I'm fairly optimistic about some of the matchups. I think some of them are going to suit us really well. Now, the other player who we need to talk about, who is probably, I'd say he's our second most important player, and Scott Drinkwater. I mean, honestly, the bloke can score points and set up points from anywhere on the field. Personally, I think Tom Dearden is our most important player, but Scott Drinkwater is a very close second. I thought Drinkwater, with his attacking and his vision and what he does, he was great on the weekend.
Yeah, Nick. Dearden doesn't have a bad game. That's the only bad, you know, if I'm going to, you know, most of you know Drinkwater's my favourite player, you know, current crop. I've got his name on the, you know, I've got a few jerseys there with names on them, but, you know, I've got his name on the back, and I'm just going through the stats, you know, getting prepared for the podcast. And if he's not on the top, he's a second for points, try assist second, line break assist seconds. You know, he features in nearly every stat. If he can fix up his defence, mate, he should be in the Origin side.
Mate, I think we've said this before, and we've spoken about it in person. If Scott Drinkwater was a defensive fullback, like if he was more on defense, like if he adds that to his game, he'll be a top two. I mean, he could be the best fullback in the game. There's a lot of potential there. Like, I know you've got your Dylan Edwardses, your James Tedesco's, your Kalen Pongers, your Reece Walshes, and all these sort of guys, your Tom Trebojeviches. But if Scott Drinkwater had a defensive game like Dylan Edwards does, Drinkwater would be the best fullback in the comp. Like, he would be. He honestly would be. He would be.
I'm just reminiscent of Thurston Bowen.
Yes.
You know, Matty Bowen, his tackling only got better.
Yeah. Towards the back end of his career.
Yeah, and Thurston was the safe, like Dearden. Dearden's the safe every game. He gives 100%.
Yeah,
And, and Drinkwater's our X factor, mate.
he's the man. He's the man. And we have seen over the last couple of years, like I remember when Drinkwater got suspended for breaking Corey Oates' jaw a couple of years ago. I think it was 2023. And Drinkwater was out for 4 weeks, I think, 3 or 4 weeks suspension. We were a different team without him. Like we were not the same team. So Drinkwater is so important to us. Couple of players I want to talk about. Jackson Purdue in the centers as well. He looked so comfortable in the centers. Obviously, he's our young prospect coming through. Obviously, halfback was his main position. But Purdue, wow, he was electric in that trial game.
And another bloke who's only going to get better, he's still growing into his body. He's going to put a bit more weight on.
Yeah.
I thought he looked, and that's the key to playing rugby league is confidence. And geez, he had it in spades, mate, on the weekend.
He was out of this world. And also, I want to say as well, what did you make of Jeremiah Nanai playing on the left edge with Tom Dearden? Because Nanai's always been a right edge back rower. He moved over to the left. I thought Nanai defensively looked a lot more comfortable with Tom Dearden. And I really thought Nanai looked a lot better on the left edge. He looked dangerous as.
Yeah, well, it looks like that's where he's always been. He didn't look out of spot.
No, he didn't. And I'll tell you what, I know it's only a trial and we've got a whole year to look forward to, but a left edge of Dearden, Nanai, Purdue, and Talangi, and then you got Drinkwater coming around with those out-the-back sweep plays, back on the inside sort of thing. It's a very dangerous left edge.
Yeah, and we've got 2 dangerous edges.
Yeah, I was just going to say the right edge. You got Duffy, young prospect halfback who had a blinder on the weekend. You got an experienced enforcer in John Bateman. You got Villia, who looks like a really good young centre coming through, looking confident. And then Braden Burns, who we spoke about last week, if he has a good game, he'll probably get the spot round 1. I thought in the first half he was a little bit quiet, but that second half, Braden Burns was in everything. He was very good.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch him develop.
Same.
So I hope he gets that week in, week out opportunity to just because it really knocks your confidence when you're going to get dropped.
Yeah. I think there's no denying that our left edge is probably a lot more dangerous than our right edge, but you don't want to underestimate the right edge as well because Duffy is new on the scene. Opposition teams are not really going to know what to expect from Tom Duffy, so he could be dangerous himself. You got Bateman. He's a dangerous player on his day as well. He can be hit and miss, but we know what Bateman can do as well. And then you got guys like Villia and Burns who are looking to try and keep their spot in the team. So there's a lot of good competition for spots. And is there anyone else you want to give a rap to from the trial game on the weekend?
Cotter.
Yeah, Reuben Cotter.
That break he made, like he looked like a 18-year-old kid where he run through that hole.
Oh, actually, I want to give a rap to Harrison Edwards. Harrison Edwards. I know when you look at the team sheet on paper, it may not look that good with Harrison Edwards on the team. People always give him crap for not being that good of a player. But here's the thing, right? Harrison Edwards does things that are unnoticed, where he goes out there, makes a bunch of tackles, gets through a bunch of hard work. He actually ran for about 98 meters on the weekend, which he hasn't done a lot of, I've noticed, in his games with the Cowboys. So Edwards was running more football, made a lot of tackles, got through a lot of hard work, and Todd Payton sees something in Harrison Edwards that a lot of people may not see in him, but he was good on the weekend. And I'll tell you, I'm a big Harrison Edwards fan myself, so I hope he gets picked round 1. I think he deserves to be there, considering all the work he did last year. I think he deserves to be there round one.
Yeah, I think he will be. I've got my sneaky suspicion is that Hess will get rested.
I'm thinking the same because I don't think fitness-wise he's 100%. He looked a bit better against Melbourne, but he still looks a little bit underdone.
And with the depth that we've got, I know that everyone reckons we've got none, but, we see it. And, why rush a guy in when we've got what we got?
I'll tell you who I think's under pressure, Callum. And again, we're not going to be critical of our players, but I think this guy needs to get up the stairs a little bit because I think he's stuck on a step. Griffin Neame. I think Griffin Neame could be anything. He could be one of the best props in the game. Like, he is such a good player. There is a lot of pressure on him because you got guys like Cohen has coming back from injury. McKaylee's pushing for that spot. Harrison Edwards wants to be in the team every week as well. Kai O'Donnell's pushing it. Griffin Neame, I feel like, is the one that may be stuck on this fifth step. Needs to get up to that seventh or eighth step to stay there. I think he's under a little bit of pressure, Callan. I really do.
Yeah, well, he needs to get back to the form that got him into the New Zealand side.
I agree.
When he scored that try and, he's a big boy. I like him. He's a nice bloke.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a confidence thing or maybe what it is, but I feel like out of all the guys that we have on the bench and in the reserves, I feel like Griffin's the one that's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It feels like it because I don't know. It's just how I judge it. Hopefully round one, if Griffin Neame's in the team, he comes out, he runs for 100 meters, he destroys a couple of Manly players, has a big game. I will back him in to have a big game. I've got a lot of faith in Griffin Neame. I just think if I had to pick someone to be under a little bit of pressure on the bench, it would probably be Griffin Neame at the moment.
Well, my opinion of him is I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Because I want him to be in the starting side.
I do too.
I'd love to have him and Jordan McLean starting.
Yeah.
And having blokes, because I'd have Tamalalo as 13. Okay, so having blokes like McIntyre, Harrison Cotter. Edwards, Sam McIntyre, Cotter coming off the bench, because like we spoke about last week, 2015, we did not miss a beat with our bench.
No, we didn't.
And that's to me, you need a bench that's just as good as the starting side.
Well, I remember, I think it was 2023, and I was actually at this game. It was Manly Cowboys. It was like round 20. And I remember Todd Payton made a very strange interchange before kickoff. He put Tamalolo, Ruben Cotter, and Griffin Neame on the bench. They all come off the bench. When they all came on, Tamalolo and Cotter went absolutely berserk. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, Tamalolo and Cotter off the bench might be the most genius move I've ever seen. And obviously you can't have them both on the bench every week because of the money that they're on, and you can't have guys that are on 800,000 plus on the bench. But it was just a one-off thing, and it was unbelievable. The impact was insane. I couldn't believe how good it was.
See, if I was bringing Cotter off the bench, he'd be coming on the 20th minute, and he'd be staying on.
Yeah, he's staying on for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming on fresh legs against a tiring team, and he's an absolute workhorse.
You get through it all. Yeah.
You don't miss a beat. You actually raise a step,
Yeah. No, you're right. 100%. 100%. Even Tamalolo off the bench would be good too. Like, we've seen bits of that, and he's come off the bench and he's made a lot of impact. So there's definitely some options there for Todd Payton come round one.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Good
All
headaches
right.
to have.
All right, let's move on. Some rumors circulating that the Cowboys may play in Vegas in 2026. Rumors of the Cowboys playing in Vegas in 2026 would be good. Obviously, it would be very expensive to get over there and whatnot. But if if this happens, Callan, I'm sure you will try and make the trip over.
Yeah, mate. I've got the money put aside in case we make it. Like
Yeah,
I don't, my quest is I want to go to every stadium in the world, and hopefully the Cowboys are there.
yeah.
Not much point going there, but yeah, it'd be two things that excite me about that is me going and who's coming with me. The only headache I've got is if I can get a visa to go there because I've got a few priors in my,
Yeah,
in my other life that I used to live.
yeah. Fair enough.
But yeah, mate, that going over there with a bunch of Cowboy supporters, mate, that would be heaven, man.
Be off its head, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity as well.
Yeah, 100%. Because
Well,
this
yeah,
concept might not go on forever.
no, no. I'd love to go myself. Like, it'd be pretty insane. Now, I'll ask you this. Now, if we do end up playing in Vegas, who would you want to play? Like, obviously, everyone will say Broncos, but I think that would be a disaster because then you're taking away one of the big games of the year for us when we play the Broncos. But who would you like to play if we do if we do play in Vegas?
The Knights.
Why?
Well, I'm 97 Super League. I
Yep.
actually was a Newcastle supporter
Yep.
for the ARL,
Yeah.
and I've
Yeah.
always had a bit of a soft spot for them. And in recent times, we've had some really good battles. And then, Ponga, the little smart ass,
Oh no.
I'd like to smash him over there. And I just think it'd be great. Two good, the colours that, the Knights, the Cowboys, we I don't know if the Knights have got but we've taken our colours from the Dallas Cowboys. So you think we'd sort of get a bit of a following.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, it seems like ever since we knocked them out of the finals in Townsville, they've had a bit of a grudge against us. They've had a bit of a whinge. So yeah, suck on that, Knights fans. But hey,
Who
look,
who would you want?
who would I want? I would want a team. Oh, who would I want? Oh, I mean, if we play the Titans, the Gold Coast will have a crowd of about 10 people. Let's be honest. Nah, look, in all seriousness, I would like to play. Uh, who hasn't gone? West Tigers.
Yeah, well,
I want to
I
play the
think they'll
West
go
Tigers.
all right this year.
I want to play the West Tigers because I still haven't gotten over the 2005 grand final. I probably never will get over it. To be honest, I probably never will. I watched a replay of it a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to. Yeah. Anyway, definitely. Tigers. I want the Tigers.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Give me the West Tigers. If I can't have the West Tigers, give me. I don't know. Give me the friggin' Titans. Why not? Who knows? Parramatta, maybe. Parramatta wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
Ever since that robbery in 2022, where we got robbed in the prelim,
Yeah.
wouldn't mind going to Vegas and kicking their ass. Wouldn't
Yeah,
mind that either.
we've got a few teams that we've got a good rivalry with.
Yeah, we've got a few. Broncos, Sharks, Tigers. They're three that stand out. Manly 1 year they ripped us off. Roosters as well. There's a couple of Sydney clubs who we've had a few problems with over the years. Haven't had actually. You know what? I wouldn't even mind playing the Raiders over there. Like obviously the Raiders are going over there now, but we've got no beef with Canberra, do we? I don't think we do.
No, I don't think so.
I don't mind playing Canberra, but yeah,
They're too busy fighting themselves. That's a joke. That's a joke. Any Raiders supporters out there? Storming a teacup, that one, I think.
They're too busy fighting each other in the elevator. Oh, how good. All right. Let's talk about the depth going into this year. Obviously, me and you, Callum, we've got big raps on it. We think our depth is great. And like you think about it for a moment, like you look at the outside backs, for example, say the starting wingers are Braden Burns, Murray Talangi. You know, guys like Robert Derby and Semi Valame as backup. Like, that's very good backup right there in itself. Then you look at the centers, Purdue and Vilea. You got Zach Laybud as depth, along with I was going to say Tom Chester, but he's injured at the moment. But there's a lot of good depth and a lot of good competition for spots. Like Duffy could be the 7, Clifford's the backup in waiting. You got McKaylee, who's a backup front rower. He should be in the team in a lot of people's eyes, but he's a backup player. Cohen Hess may not make the team because other guys might be in front of him. I think our depth is fantastic, Callum.
Yeah. You know, it's a very disappointing. You know, Heelan probably be out for the whole year, won't he?
Yeah, he's gone.
That's a bit disappointing.
Yeah,
but, you know, I'm excited because you got to look at the positives. And I'm excited for guys like Kai O'Donnell to make, you know, to try to squeeze into that first 13.
Yeah. Yeah. Kai O'Donnell, big fan. I mean, I watched the Super League, as everyone knows. I watched the UK Super League. I watched him last year at the Leigh Leopards. And again, a lot of people might not know this. Kai O'Donnell, he is a left edge back rower. Left side is his best. He can play right edge as well, but he's way better on the left. So him and Dearden, but then you got Jeremiah Nanai on that edge. So it'll be interesting what they do if there's a game where Bateman's out and we got O'Donnell and Nanai, which edge, who plays on what side. So that could be interesting as well.
Well, the other thing about depth too is, you know, we all know that we always get a lot of Origin players go missing around the Origin period. So having blokes in the waiting is, you know, people don't realise you need more than 17 men to make a year of football.
That's right. And have a look at last year. Like, we had more Origin players than any other team last season, and we were winning during the Origin period. We beat the Roosters in Sydney when we were paying $7 to win. We had 6 players out. Roosters had a couple out themselves, but we were $7 to win, and we won that game in Sydney. Then, fast forward a month later, we were Origin affected again. We played Penrith in Penrith. We had about 6 players out, and we beat Penrith in Penrith. So the one thing that I must give a massive rap to Todd Payton about is when it comes to the Origin period, we have handled it very well the last couple of years, and we have actually won during the Origin period. So, you know, Roosters and Panthers, they're not easy teams, and their backups are quite good. So they were great.
And when it came down to the end of the year, those 2 wins were vital.
They were important. We would have finished 8th if we lost those 2 games. Because hang on. Yeah, we would have finished 8th. We won 13 games. We won 15 games. We got the 5th. I think 13 wins was 8th spot, and that was the Knights. So you see what I mean? Those little wins, like during the Origin period, they are very important,
Yeah, absolutely.
and we've handled it well the last couple of years. So it's really good stuff. Now, I mean, obviously, looking at who we're losing for Origin this year. I mean, obviously, Dearden will probably be in there. Cotter, Nanai, maybe Murray Talangi. They're probably the four that stand out when it comes to Origin this year.
Yeah,
I mean, if Talangi is out, then we bring what Semi Valame comes in for him. If Dearden's out, then they go what Clifford and Duffy for the week, which is
yeah,
pretty good. If Cotter's out, then you probably start Neem and you bring McKaylee on the bench. And if Nanai's out, you probably bring in Kai O'Donnell. So
yeah.
depth wise, that's solid as.
Mm.
That's very solid. That's very good. What else about the depth is good, you reckon?
Well, there's probably a lot of, because Pride had a cracker last year. And, so there's a lot of guys that I'm not that aware of. Like, I had to do a little bit of research. I bet you a lot of teams will be doing a lot of research on Duffy.
Yeah.
These unknown guys. But, yeah, I don't know. I just think, I think Peyton would have been drumming a very strong message home, even though it was a trial.
Yeah.
I think he would have been saying to these guys, that's not good enough.
Yeah. No, 100%.
You don't know when you're going to get your opportunity, so you got to play your best football.
You got to take your chance when you get it. That's what all the senior guys say all the time to the young one. If you get your chance and you got to go out there and play front row for 10 minutes, you want to go out there and make at least 20 tackles and run hard when you have the ball. You want to go out there and do your job. Otherwise, you might not get another chance. That's how it is. Okay. This is what I want to talk about too. Hooker depth. Now, obviously, we're losing Robson at the end of the year, which is annoying. And I'm not going to get into it because I might say something I will regret. So I'm not going to get into it too much. But Carl Lawton, he can play 9, which is solid. We saw Harrison Edwards play hooker last year against Penrith during the Origin period. Did a fine job. We got that young gun who's been given huge raps, Xavier Kurzik. He's been tipped to replace Robson next year. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. I think he's still pretty young, so I don't know if he'll be straight in next year. But Kyle Lawton, Harrison Edwards, I think it'd be nice if we had another hooker in the squad for depth, but.
Well, there's a guy that a lot of people don't agree with me on this one, but Cotter came in as a hooker.
Yeah.
And to me, the argument is, he's such a good front rower. I remember watching him play the Indigenous game, and I said to myself, this is the way that he sort of took out markers, the way that he just sort of directed the play from dummy half. I was saying to myself, here comes the next Cameron Smith, and the next thing he's a prop.
Yeah, he's a prop, lock, second row.
So, and Cotto, he's so fit. He tackles. I reckon he if he was a hooker, I reckon he'd be playing hooker for Queens. He'd be fighting Harry Grant for Queensland if he was, in and 100% hooker. We got Clifford. You could probably, if desperation, we could put him in there.
I have heard a few people say that about Jay Clifford, maybe the hooker. I don't like the idea of it, but again, we haven't seen it. We're only pre-predicting it, I guess. If he moved to hooker, he could be a better player. We've seen a lot of halves from other NRL teams move to hooker, and they've become much better players. Look at Phoenix Crossland from the Knights. I think he was a young half coming through, and then he moved to hooker in 2023, and I think he ended up playing for the Kiwis. So
Yeah.
it's possible. If you move to hooker, you can be a much better player. Jackson Hastings, another one. He's played a lot of hooker before, and he's done fantastic.
Ben Hunt's a great example. He's
Ben
not
Hunt.
even really a hooker.
What's his name from the Broncos? Billy Walters. He was a half. Now he's a hooker.
Yeah.
So it can be done. It definitely can be done, but it's just a matter of if Clifford believes that or not. It'd be interesting to see what happens there going forward with the hooker depth. It'd be very interesting. All right, moving on. All right, looking ahead to round one. So obviously we got Manly in 2 weeks' time down there at Brookvale Oval in Sydney, the Northern Beaches. Now, we've spoken about this in the green room. I absolutely hate the travel to Manly. I think it's dreadful. It's horrendous. I do not like to travel there. If you're staying in Sydney, like if you're staying out towards Canterbury area or out Bankstown, or if you're staying, I don't know, out towards Parramatta, or you're in the city, wherever the hell you're staying, it's a pain in the ass because you've got to get on the train straight to Central, and you got two options. You can go to Circular Quay and get the goddamn ferry, and then figure out a way to get to the ground from there. Probably get an Uber, or you can get on the bus from Wynyard, and the bus is about 45 minutes, and then you got to get off, and then you got to walk another 15 minutes up this ridiculous hill. So it's about an hour to get to Manly if you're on the bus. It's a bit of a carry on, 40, 50 minutes, bit of a carry on. I think I might get the ferry, to be honest with you, this year. I think I might get on the boat. I think I will. But Manly, what do you think about the matchup for Manly for round one?
Yeah, I'm excited. And, you saying that the shitty ground and all that, I'm only going because of you, mate. But, yeah.
I need you down there, mate. I need you. We're going to be outnumbered down there.
I had a great memory of when we had that comeback from behind a few years, about 3 or 4 years ago now, I think.
2022?
Yeah.
Was that the one with Val Holmes scored?
Yeah. We scored like 20 points in.
Oh yeah, I know the one.
Like 5 minutes, like 5-10 minutes or something ridiculous. And
it was 26-12 Manly with about 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, that was such a great memory. I've only been there once.
Oh really?
I've ticking all the stadiums off, and so like I can't go to all of them.
Yeah.
But like I never did it. In the early days, I just went to Townsville.
Yeah.
And part of me, the love for the Cowboys, I thought, I've got to go away, and experience the away games, watching it on TV, watching all the fans, but I want to be there, I want to be with, and then meeting you, because I used to be a best seat man. I didn't really care about sitting with the other Cowboy fans. I just wanted to get the best seat, to get the best view of the game. Yeah. But sitting with you, at the Bulldogs, that's where I'm going to sit from now on, in the away bay with all you guys, and I'm so excited.
I love it. I can't wait. I know at Manly we don't really have an away bay because Manly don't allocate it, but we've already we put out on the Instagram. We've got the away bay set up for the fans already, so I've already contacted a few fans, and they're going to be sitting with us in the corner, and we've got the away base sorted out for ourselves. So I'm not sure if we're going to have a big crowd. I'm not expecting a big crowd because it's round one and it's Manly. A lot of people don't like going to Manly, so we've got it all planned out, ready to go. But it's going to be a good time. Like, it's going to be a really good time. Really looking forward to it. Hopefully we get the win. Like, that's the important part. Let's try and get the win. Now, matchup wise, I think we match up really well with Manly. Obviously, we played them last year, and they beat us by that field goal because we missed about 500 field goals, which was ridiculous. But if you look at the matchups, right, you got our left edge versus their right edge. It'll be Dearden, Nanai, Purdue, and Talangi versus Cherry Evans, Olakawatu, Ruben Garrick, and I believe Jason Saab, if he's fit. Now, Garrick in the centers defensively is not good, and Jason Saab has always been very hit and miss in defense. So I think we'll be targeting that edge a lot. I really do. And then as for the other matchup on the right edge, it'll be Tom Duffy, John Bateman, Viliami Vialea, and Braden Burns against Luke Brooks, Ben Trebojevic, Kohler, and I believe Lehigh Hopewade will be the other one. So, again, I think we match up really well with Manly. I think it's going to be a really close game.
And you got Turbo chiming in.
Turbo versus Drinkwater, another great matchup. You got Robson versus, I think the hooker's out for Manly, actually. Robson versus Gordon or Jake Simkin. I can't remember which one it will be. But I think we match up pretty well with Manly, Callan. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic. I'm pretty confident about round one. Like, obviously, we'll talk about it next week when we preview the game. But I think matchup wise, I think we match up pretty well with Manly.
Yeah, like you were saying about their defense, Garrick and Saab are very good attack.
Yes,
they got points in them, so that'll be, for us, if our defense, if we can match them, because we can match it with anyone in attack.
Yeah,
we nearly scored the most points in the competition. So we can score points. It was our big weakness was defense. So if we can out defend them, I think it's going to be a close game.
Me too, yeah. I think we had the second or third best attack last year. It was top three, I think. It was right up there. Top four, maybe. It was we had one of the best attacks in the comp. But it's a new year now, and there's a couple of new players, so hopefully it's still good. But I'm excited for round one. I think it's going to be a good challenge. I mean, Brookvale Oval. I mean, if you look at the history of it, Brookvale Oval is not an easy place to win. Like round one, not easy. Now, I'll tell you this, Callan, I'll be completely honest with you. If this game was a day game, if this was a Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock, or a Saturday, 3 o'clock, I would be very nervous because Manly in the afternoons at Brookvale, very hard to beat. But I think with it being a nighttime kickoff, 7:30, I think it's going to suit us a lot better with it being at nighttime.
What's the weather like that time of year?
Probably be about 26 degrees, 27 degrees. It'll still be pretty warm, I reckon, at what time it kicks off.
Because I don't think I've been to Sydney in that early part of the year.
It can be hot. Like I remember last year, round 3, we played the Dragons at Cogra. Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock kickoff. It was pretty warm on the hill. It was pretty warm. It wasn't boiling, but it was pretty warm.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say as well, because a lot of Cowboys fans don't know this. Out of all the teams that play Manly at Brookvale Oval, no one has a better record at Brookvale against Manly than us.
Yeah.
We have a fantastic record there. We've won our last 2 there. We haven't lost to Manly in Brookvale since 2021. So it's been a couple of years. And out of all the grounds in Sydney that we play at, Shark Park, Parramatta, Allianz, Accor Stadium, we don't have a record anywhere that's better than Brookvale.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so we usually go pretty well down there. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting round 1. It'll be very interesting. Now let's continue with the fixtures questions. So we'll talk about the first month of the year, right? The first 4 rounds. So we got Manly at Brookvale on the Saturday night. Sharks at Townsville, round 2, Saturday night. Broncos round 3, which is the big one at Suncorp, obviously our arch nemesis. And then we've got the Raiders round 4 at home in Townsville, again, Saturday night. Do you think a tough draw is what we need?
Yeah, I do. I think to, especially walking away with wins from them, preferably walking away from wins from tough games, I think that's gonna make a great foundation for our year.
Yes, and if you look at last year, we were 3-0 last year. We started the year off very well, but with all due respect to the other teams, we played the Knights, who were not going that great. We beat the Dragons, who had a pretty up and down year, and the Dolphins, who were up and down all year. So it wasn't the competition that we got this year, like Manly, Sharks, Broncos. Like they're all serious good teams. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see how we go the first month.
I'm very excited. I'll be at when we'll be with you. Hopefully 1, 2. I don't know if I'll make 3, but I'll be 1, 2, 4. So
round 6 is Perth. Yeah,
I'm a little bit of a sore loser. So and when I travel away, it hurts even more.
Well, we've actually never been to a game where we've lost together, so it's a good start.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a good start.
Cowboys should put us on the payroll.
If you can get through to the membership team, then that wouldn't be a bad idea.
I've gotten pretty close to ask for Fiona. If you ever want to talk to the membership team, say Callan said, I want to talk to Fiona. She's awesome.
All right.
That's all you guys out there. Talk to Fiona. Tell them Callan sent you.
Shout out to Fiona from the Cowboys membership team. In the live chat, just when someone says, Vixian, we need to travel better this year. I sat behind you, Nick, at Suncorp for Dolphins game last year. I appreciate that. We actually travelled really well last year. I think we only lost. We didn't lose many games away last year. I think in Sydney we only lost to 2. I think we were 6 from 8 in Sydney. We had a pretty good record in Sydney last year. We did lose a couple of away games like Titans, Broncos. What else did we lose away? Can't remember. But we actually, I think last year was our best away record in quite some time. We actually had a better away record last year than we did home record, which was a bit crazy. And it's a bit rare to see, actually. So, hopefully we start the year off well. That's the goal. All right, we'll get to a couple of fan questions, and then we will get on out of here. Do you agree that the first 8 rounds could make or break our year? Not really, because we did struggle a bit last year around Magic Round, and then we come good. So I'm not worried. Hopefully we just start well. All right, fan questions. Let me just get them. There's a bunch of them sent on Instagram. So I'm just going to quickly have a look what we got here. And then we will wrap things up. All right. Where is it? Instagram. Here we go. Oh, there's a few questions. So we'll get to a couple of them. Connor. Shout out to Connor, actually, all the way over there in New Zealand. He asked a question the other week. So Connor wants to know, what is your favorite league moment you guys have been a part of live? Okay, well, for me, there's probably two. My number one was last year in the finals against the Knights. That was the greatest night ever up there in Townsville. Callan, you were there. It was off its head. That was insane. The other one would be when we beat the Sharks in 2022 in Golden Point, when Holmes kicked that 40-meter field goal and we advanced to the prelim final. That was insane as well. So those two for me would be my favorite ever Cowboys games live, to be honest. What about you, Callan?
I can't remember the year. I don't have as good as memory as you. I think
I might
it
be able to
was
help you.
Broncos. I think the finals. It was the first year that it wasn't Golden Point in the finals because we scored. I'm pretty sure. I think it was Morgan
2016 semi-final.
And everyone was getting up to leave, and it was, you had to give them the next, they had the extra 10 minutes or whatever it was to score back. Now that was pretty good. There's been a few that I think that was the old stadium. There's been a few semis and I think it's been the Broncos because we've beaten them a lot in the final. So arch enemy. So that would probably be one of my most exciting. They're so close and beating the Broncos. It doesn't get much better than that.
There's nothing better than knocking them out of the finals, honestly, and beating them at Suncorp as well in front of their old stupid Caxton Hotel and everything. So nothing better. Another question here we have from AWC_ACDC on Instagram. Will Dearden become a superstar this year and win the Dally M? Well, I think Dearden's already a superstar. He's an Origin player. He just played for Australia. He won the 5'8" of the year. He's the best 5'8" in the game. I think he's already a superstar in my eyes. And will he win Dally M? Why not? I'm going to say, why the hell not? I'll back him in.
Well, I'm behind that 100%. He's in my Origin team with Munster.
Yeah,
because he's going to run rings around daily on round one, and by the time Origin's picked, I know he's not a halfback, but between him and Munster playing on both edges, I'd
be dangerous.
I don't think you need, like Munster could be a 7. I think the way they split up they're nearly both playing like a 7 on each of their halves. They direct their half of the field. They direct the defence. And his mouth never stops. He's got the ability. Right. He'll take them on every time. He's got one of the best show and goes in the game. And the D, running down Selwyn Cobbo. Yeah, that's one of the magic moments. Even though we didn't win that game, just him never giving up attitude. Like I keep saying, comparing him to Thurston with that attitude, determination. Yeah, why 100%. Not? Bring it on, mate. Bring it on.
And the last question I want to get to is actually, we'll answer these two in the live chat. What stadium in New South Wales gets the best Cowboys away crowd? Wow. Well, definitely not Penrith. That would be the lowest. Penrith will be the lowest. For sure. Definitely not Leichhardt. Definitely not Manly either. I would Parramatta's a bit low as well. You know what? If we're going to talk about last year, I would say Allianz. We had a good crowd at Allianz against the Roosters. A cool stadium as well, I suppose. I mean, we've had a decent turnout at the core. I mean, I know it wasn't a big turnout when we played the Bulldogs, but when you're starting to chant up and you're getting going, it becomes a bit. It feels like it's big, even though it might not be that big. I'd say the biggest we got in Sydney last year was probably Allianz against the Roosters, or maybe the Bulldogs last round. But obviously, in the finals against the Sharks, we sold out the away bay. It was packed to the brim, but it was just hard to get. It was hard to get the crowd going because we're getting flogged and then we come back late. But yeah, I'd say the Roosters and the Bulldogs game. To be honest, I would
Yeah.
like. I would like to see Combank get more of a crowd. Like we play at Combank twice this season. Panthers in round 5, and then Eels, I think round 23. So I'd like to get a fairly decent crowd for that one, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely not too qualified to answer that question, but the best, like I said,
Bulldogs
I
game.
only really see Bulldogs. If any of the people get around to watching this podcast that were there, we out-chanted the Bulldogs. I know it was a bit of a one-way affair. We really put it on them.
My voice was dead for about 3 days after that. I couldn't talk.
That was, that's probably the most fun I've had sober in my life. Being with you, getting into that chant and just, we all just become one. It was
Right.
like I was so proud of our team, but, because to me, the fans are a big part of, the Cowboy culture. And,
That's right.
being part of that night, my phone died. I had to go and went to that little convenience store and plugged my phone in. And I was sitting with a couple of other Cowboys waiting for the phone to charge. And it was just, mate, I was just buzzing, mate. It was, yeah.
I remember.
So, pat on the back for all those fans that were at Accor last year, mate.
That was great.
Done us proud.
A cool stadium, yeah. It gets a lot. A cool stadium gets a lot of crap, but like, I enjoy going there. I really do. I do enjoy going there. Final question. There was one in the chat I wanted to get to. It was actually a good one. Which Cowboys game are you looking forward to most, like traveling wise? So, I look forward to the Broncos Cowboys game every year at Brisbane because they're our arch rivals, and that's the game where if we don't make the finals, then I want us to beat the Broncos. Like that's what I want to do. Like I want us to beat them, especially in Brisbane, because there's 50-odd thousand there normally. But to be honest, I think Perth and Melbourne this year are going to be great. Like we're going to Perth in round 6 against the Rabbitohs. CJ, who's in the live chat, he's going over with me. Cody will be there. Pro Enzo, who's a big Manly fan, we'll see him round 1. He's going to Perth as well. Like I'd say the Perth game and the Melbourne game in round 14. Like we play in Melbourne. I'd say those two for me. I'm keen as for those 2 trips.
Yeah, same. Magic round always. So we got a good record. The crowd is just stupid. Perth, I've never been there, so I've never been to Western Australia. And like I say, I'm ticking all these stadiums off. And I've been to Melbourne once before. Well, I've been to Melbourne twice, but once for the football.
Yeah,
and we come close to winning, and we had a pretty good crowd there. I don't know. We just got any tickets. I can't remember, but I think we were pretty in a strong Cowboy area. But yeah, I'm the same. You know what? Again, going to be sitting with you in Perth.
Yeah, Melbourne as well.
Yeah, so the away. I like traveling around on planes now shits me to tears. But it's arriving at the destination, somewhere new, that excitement. It's that something new, and so I hope we get a good crowd there for the Cowboys.
Yeah, me too. No, that'd be good. Hopefully we get a big crowd for all the games that we go to. That's what the goal is. But all right, we're going to wrap it up, I think. It's been an hour, so it's been a good show tonight. Thanks, Callan. I'll see you next week. And we're getting close to round one. I mean, looking forward to it. We're getting close now.
Yeah. Well, that was what I was going to say. I'm looking so forward to round one.
Yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, guys, we're going to get on out of here. Thank you all for watching.
Guys.
Thank you all for watching episode 3 of Cowboys TV podcast. Make sure to follow the Instagram page, subscribe to my YouTube channel and Callan's. The link is in the description box down below. Subscribe to the channel, guys. You will not be disappointed. I can guarantee you that. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. See you guys in the next one.